Hi, I'm Lee Morse with Fstoppers.com. I'm here with the beautiful Idiris, and today we're going to be taking a high-key portrait on pure white. When people try to do this, they get these blown out shots without any contrast. I'm gonna give you all the tips you need to know to take your picture from this to this. This video is sponsored by Luminar Live. You may have heard that Luminar AI is coming out in just a few weeks now. This is incredible photo editing software that uses artificial intelligence to make editing your photos easier and faster than ever before. Luminar Live is an online event where you can watch some of the top photographers in the world using the software. This is going to happen on December 10th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Click on the link to sign up now. I've got a Profoto B10 here, and I'm gonna put this directly over our camera. We're just gonna create very flat, hard light. It's gonna create a very small shadow under her chin. Let's just go ahead and take a picture with this one light. So as you can see with this shot, we've got a lot of work we need to do. First of all, on that background, we're not getting a pure white, even though that's white paper back there. We're getting a nice even gray, and that simply has to do with how far away it is from our light source. I'm exposing the camera for her. I'm getting correct exposure on her, but of course, the background is further away. If we were able to bring that paper forward onto the same plane that she's on, it would look pure white with this exact same exposure. But because it's further away, what we need to do is put our own light on that background. So without changing anything else, let's add a light just to that white paper. Now, the biggest mistake photographers make when they're trying to get the pure white background is they go too bright on that background. Yes, you will blow out the background, but you're also going to start blowing out the edges of your subject. You can see here, if we compare these two shots, if you zoom into her hair, you can see we lose all of the detail in the flyaways. We also lose that beautiful contrast that we have in the correctly exposed shot. This happens all the time, especially if you're in a room like we are right now where the ceilings are really low. Light's bouncing all over the place here. So you wanna make sure, if anything, you don't want to be blown out completely. You want just the littlest bit of data, and you can delete that data when you get into post. But if you go well beyond white on that background, it's really gonna kill your shot. All right, I've got another B10 here. I'm just putting it on this little background stand that we have here. And I'm just gonna guess and say the power should be the exact same. I'm on level 8 on this light here. Let's go level 8 on this and see what it looks like. Not horrible. We're still getting some gray in the shot, and you'll also notice that it's a little bit brighter directly behind her than it is above her, and that's because the light is relatively close to that background. My first tip for you is to move your subject away from that background. This is going to do two things. One, it's not going to allow the light to spill onto your subject as much as it would normally, but the other thing is it allows you to move that background light away from the background. And you can see it's kind of creating this circle of light on the background. If we move it away from the background, it's going to create a larger circle. That's going to give us a more evenly lit background. So Idiris, if I can get you to move forward a little bit here. And I'm going to grab this light and I'm just gonna move it all the way back up here. So I know that by moving that light further away from the background, we're probably going to lose at least 2 stops. Now, I was shooting at an ISO of low 1 on this camera, which is below ISO 64. I'm gonna bump it up to ISO 200. I know we can still get a really clean shot with this. And then because I have raised my ISO here, I need to remember to lower my key light by 2 stops as well. All right, I think we've got a good exposure now on the foreground and background, but I don't think our lighting on the subject looks great. I think we can make it look a little bit better. I think the shadows are a little harsh, and we're going to keep the contrast on her face in the sense that we're not gonna have this overly blown out shot from just light spilling all over the studio from the background, but I am going to fill in those shadows a little bit from below at the beginning. So what I'm going to do, I've got this simple light stand here. I've got a super clamp with a white piece of foam core. I'm just going to place this directly under her chin here. And this is just going to add a little bit of uplighting. And let's go ahead and take a test shot. Okay, I'm liking this more, but I think we can do a little bit better. I could come in and add a really large softbox. Usually what I would do is add a softbox right around in this area here and just fill in her face a little bit, tone down the harshness that we're getting from this light directly above our lens here. However, we can go a little bit more simple than that. And I'm going to add a light that just fires right into the ceiling here. And we can change the size of this light as it reflects off the ceiling by simply moving the light up and down here. This is going to be a very faint fill light, but I think it's just going to tone down the harshness of this shot just a little bit. I've got another B10 here. And again, I'm just going to tilt it up like this and start raising it up. Now take a look here with the modeling light. We've got a relatively large softbox here that we could make much smaller if we go up with it, or we could make it even larger if we bring this down a little bit. Now, the only thing that I'm really worried about here is I don't want any spill to come directly off the side and hit her in the face. I don't think I'm getting any spill, but just in case, I'll grab this reflector dish and put it on here. And this will just make sure that it's all going upward. And of course the reflector dish is kind of focusing the light a little bit, so I can lower it down just a bit here. This is the easiest way to get soft light in the studio, and I know a lot of photographers that specifically paint their studios white so that they can just fire lights off walls and ceilings and stuff wherever, and it's basically like you have every size softbox imaginable right at a moment's notice. All right, I've played with my ratio of lighting between these two lights here, and I want you to see what I've come to. I ended up turning this up a lot. It's up to level 9 now, and as you can see by these shots, huge difference. You can see that shadow under her chin has barely changed, but the lighting on her face just looks totally different. It goes from being this super harsh light that's just reflecting right off of her skin. You know, this light is so close to our lens here. We're getting all these specular highlights, to being lit just a little bit from a large light source that's off axis. And I think the color of her skin has changed a lot, but we haven't lost the overall theme of this shot or the overall idea of having this harsh light. I think we've just made it a little bit better. So now that I've got the lighting the way that I like it, let's take some shots. So this is my favorite shot. I did a quick blemish removal in Photoshop, a very quick dodge and burn, and then I added an effect from Exposure's X5 software, and we are done. For more content just like this, head over to fstoppers.com for daily free content, and head over to fstoppers.com/store for our premium photography and videography tutorials.